Okay, so the time has come to do the hard work. I'm going to share some things that happened in my session with my psychologist yesterday that I knew was coming, and it was really hard. I want to say a couple of things before we get into it too deeply. I think some of the things I'm going to say, and don't question why I'm sharing this, I have no fucking clue. I don't know. I'm just listening to my body. There's something inside me that's saying you need to share your experiences. You need to be authentic. And I suppose this is kind of like the extreme of being authentic, sharing your deepest traumas and sadness online. But I think it's just part of my healing process. It is therapeutic, and I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but I think that there's a couple of things I want to say. First of all, the airplane is coming overhead again, so give that a pause. The things that I'm going to say in this video are probably not easy to hear for some of you if you have trauma in your life. And I just want you to be forewarned that this might be triggering, not only to just people who have trauma, but I think it's hard to hear even when I say it out loud for the first time. If you're driving while you're listening to this, just be aware that it might be difficult to hear, or if you're operating heavy machinery, just pause this or don't watch it at all, whatever. And I also want to say that the things that I am about to say they don't come to me easily. I say these things with no hate in my heart. I don't know where to go with this, but it's just kind of therapeutic to share. And it's part of my journey, my trek, so to speak. And here it goes. So the session that I had with my psychologist yesterday was much anticipated because I was worried. I was scared. I knew it was coming because, like I said, the things I think about sometimes when it comes to what happened to me as a child. I'm not going to say us because there were other children in my household, my siblings. Another airplane, hold on. They experience things differently. Some much, much more harshly, unspeakable things, and some much less. And that's okay. We all have our journeys, we all have our experiences, but what they experience is not my story to tell. Not that this is a story, but it's not for me to tell. I'm just going to tell it from my experience and my perspective. And like I said, I say this with no hate in my heart. I just want to heal, whatever that means and however that looks like. And I think this is part of the process. And I just have to trust the process. Speaking these things into truths so that we can, or I suppose speaking out loud just so that we can address them. So this session with my psychologist, we're going to do something called imaginative rescripting. There's some pain and scarring inside me from what happened in my childhood that I just needed to heal. So my psychologist, through this imaginative rescripting, she explained it to me like this. We're going to go in. Do you know how you have a scab over your wound? on your physical body. Well, it's kind of like that for your emotional. You have emotional scarring. And what we're going to do today is we're going to open up that wound and, your emotional wound, and we're going to go in and we're going to heal it. We're going to do some things that will make it feel better, and we're going to address it from the root cause. So that was a good understanding from my perspective, because that's what I wanted to do. Like I said, I didn't know starting out with psychotherapy what healing looked like. You're just talking, and I was happy to hear that we can actually do some exercises to help with the pain, and not just with the pain and cover up the pain, or like address the pain in a way that you can heal it, that you can actually change it. So that was a very good understanding. So again, I closed my eyes, and she started in, and it's a series of back and forths, and I'll just the question will be, as I speak through it with you guys, the question will be from my psychologist, and then my answer will be from me. So I was closing my eyes, and she said, "So where are you, and what's happening?" So I said, "I'm in my childhood home, and I'm 6 years old, and I hear my parents fighting, and it's late at night, and I can hear them screaming at each other, and this goes on for some hours, just screaming and screaming back and forth, and I can hear it, and I'm worried about my siblings, if they can hear it. I'm worried if they're scared." We all had sort of different places that we would sleep in the house, and I was alone in my bedroom, and I could hear them fighting, and then I hear crashing and pushing and shoving and more screaming, and then I hear my mom call my name. So I came down the stairs, and again, I'm 6 years old, and I opened the door to the living room where they were fighting, and I see my mom laying on the floor, and she had shattered glass all around her, and I could see that she was bleeding on her head, and the psychologist said, "How are you feeling? What's going on?" And I said, "I feel like I need to help her. I need to help my mom, and I need to clean her wound, and I need to clean up the glass." And she said, "What's your dad doing?" And I said, "He's just standing there, and he's walking away." And I said, I need to clean this up, and I need to make sure that my mom is safe." So she said, "Okay, but that's not your job." And the psychologist is talking to me as a child. "That's not your job." I said, "I know, but I still need to fix it." And she said, "Is there somebody in your life now, as a 6-year-old, can come help you? Somebody's safe?" And I said, "I don't know." And I just couldn't, and I was reeling through the people in my life, and I just didn't want them to see that. There were a lot of people in my life that cared and could have helped, but I just didn't want them to see that. And also, I didn't know what I was doing, so I said, "No, there's nobody." And then my psychologist, I'm gonna pause for the airplane again. It'd be nice to be on that plane. I wonder where they're going. Some people going on holiday. They're probably actually landing in Switzerland. This one's probably coming back from a cool destination. All right, that's a nice pause. Let me regroup myself. All right. And she said, my psychologist said, "So who can come help you?" And I said, "I don't know." And she said, "What about your adult self?" And that really struck a chord for me. I'm like, yeah, I can come help. I'm strong. I will come help my little 6-year-old self, help my mom in this terrible time. And so I did. And then I'm still have my eyes closed, and I'm imagining me and as an adult coming, and I'm fixing things. I'm cleaning up the glass, and the little 6-year-old self is holding my mom's hand and just making sure she's okay. And I, as an adult, am cleaning up the mess. And the three of us girls, me, my little self, and my mom, were there just cleaning up the mess. And my my psychologist said, so what do you need now from your older self? I said, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of this house. We need to go somewhere. And so we all, the three of us, my adult self, my child self, and my mom, in this scenario, we all went outside and we went down by the river that's not far from my house. And we felt safe there. We walked there together, we held hands, and we were safe there. And my psychologist said, what do you need now? And I said, I need a hug, as the 6-year-old. So my adult self was hugging my 6-year-old self, and that's the reimagining part. That's the healing part. So we go in, and I'm hugging myself. And the hard part about it was that I was thinking about my daughter and anybody else that went through a difficult time, like horrible experience. And it felt good though to get a hug as a child from my adult self. And then we talked about some other things, like what as a child do I need now? What do you need from your mom? I said, I need my mom to be strong. I need my mom to be independent. I need my mom to get this person out of her life. And then we walked through the scenario where she would be strong. She got help. She got educated. She got more independent. She could set her boundaries. I needed my mom to set boundaries for herself. I needed her to be okay. And so she set boundaries. She told my dad, that that's not okay. She's not going to accept it. And that she's going to move on with her life in a different way. So that was very helpful. And the psychologist also asked what I wanted for my dad. And I said, I just want him to go get help. I don't want him to go to jail. I don't want him to to go away. I just want him to go get help and fix himself, because I know that there's some healing, I think, from his side that he needs to do. Okay, so I'm sorry if that was painful for you guys, but I wanted to share that if you're looking to heal, there are ways to heal. And I think that it's only been a day or so since we did that rescripting exercise with my psychologist, but to me, to be able to say that without breaking down completely to you guys is an indication that the healing is working. And I told my psychologist we need to do a few more of those sessions, I think, because it wasn't an isolated incident that I experienced. It was years of this, and I think that this is a good path forward. She said, don't do this by yourself. So this is a warning that if you're going to try a rescripting exercise, don't do it by yourself. You need to be in a safe space. And by the way, I did access my safe space, the exercise that we did in a previous video that I talked about. So at the end, this is how actually that exercise ended. We all gave each other hugs as, my adult self and my child self and my mother. And then we just told each other we'll be okay. And then I took them to my safe space with me. And we all hung out there. We took our shoes off. We sat by the campfire. And we just had some fun memories together in that weird experience. So I think I needed that. I think it's going to go a long ways to healing. And but I'm going to need more of that. I don't know if I'll share so much more with respect to how that personal experience. And there were some other things, and I don't think I need to share those to go through the motions of that. But I will, share some other things about how I'm working with my psychologist to improve. Another airplane going by. Hold on. Stand by. I know this is a long video. But I just want to say a couple of more things, just as a warning. Like I said, I say this with no hate in my heart. I hope that I can heal. I hope that other people who've experienced similar things can heal. And I hope that they can just be strong. I hate to say that I'm being brave, but I think I'm being brave by being able to say these things out loud. And I'm never one to toot my own horn, or to, I hate that phrase too. I'm never one to bring attention to myself in ways that are a little bit unnecessary in my mind. But I'm not gonna psychoanalyze this. I'm just gonna feel. I think that's what my body's been telling me for a couple of years now. And if I don't do this, if I don't commit completely to this, whatever that looks like, then it's not gonna work. And I'm committed to the process, and I'm committed to getting better. And I think that I can be. Like I said, I'm not depressed. I just get deeply sad about things. Well, I'm a little depressed, like my psychologist said, only slightly, but I'm not like clinically depressed or anything like that. I can do my day-to-day things, and I can be happy. They have this. I just have this targeted thing that I need to heal, and I think that'll go a long ways towards me becoming a better person. I think it'll help me with my anger. I think I'm very angry about this, that this happened, that somebody could do such things. And like I said, this is my experience. It's not my siblings' experiences. It's not my mom's experience. This is mine. And I hope that they can get the help that they need. They've been working on things. It's not my story to tell. It's not my experience to share. This is me. This is about me, and how I can get better so that I'm a better person for the people around me. And I don't want to be angry anymore. And I hope this helps me and other people. Okay, that's enough rambling. That was a tough one. I'm just gonna end it. Bye. Sorry, I shouldn't have ended it. Sorry, I shouldn't have ended it that way. I'm okay. I just needed to cry a little bit. The other thing is that I feel good doing this in nature. If I was in a room talking to you guys with four walls and a window, I don't know if I'd be strong enough to do it. And I think that there's something to be said about this nature or forest bathing stuff, nature therapy stuff. I was learning a little bit more about it since my last video, and there's another aspect to it which is not nuanced but different. We all know that it's intuitive that nature helps us. Like we feel better when we're going for walks. We feel better in the outdoors. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about it, but I feel held in this little forest. I feel stronger having been able to say these things to you while I'm outside as compared to maybe indoors. And there's a cool thing that I've been learning about forest bathing. It's not just that humans will feel better, but there's a relational aspect to it, which is really cool. It's about developing a relationship with nature, and not just expecting things from nature. I expect to feel less stressed after my walk. I expect to have more creativity after my sit spot activity. No. You get those things. Those are the collateral benefits, I suppose. But I think that what helps me, at least in my experience, and practicing my psychotherapy and nature therapy and doing it all sort of outdoors, is that I get that relational part of what they're practicing or what they're teaching, and I suppose I've had a relationship with nature my whole life, and a lot of us do. We just don't recognize it as such. And being able to just calm myself here after that little crying episode after I shared with you so much. It's so nice to hear the birds chirping. And I just feel held. I don't feel alone so much in nature. And I suppose to me that's helpful. I like it. So I'm gonna keep going with this nature therapy stuff. My meeting with my psychologist weekly, and I hope to share both of those kinds of experiences with you, because I guess now they're sort of hand in hand. I've always loved to talk to you guys while I'm in nature, and now that I'm doing my my mental healing, I'm doing my emotional healing, and I want to do it outside and recognize that nature's playing a big part of that. The forest is playing a big part of that, in helping me heal, which is amazing. So I get to heal in a lot of ways. There's people around me, there's trees around me, there's support around me, and it's gonna get better. I can feel it. Thanks, guys.